This one?
Alright, so we're going to the Argo one first, because I missed that. So we'll go into one of these. All the providers in the UK are weird. Some knowledgeable that they have issues. Just leave it. That's true. Right, if you look at the wall, the Argo one is where? The Argo one is in the Zenith Hall, and Drake's in the Apex Hall, right? So, if you turn around, there's two different things here. So go to Zenith first, which is the Argo ones, because that was yesterday's. And then we'll go to Apex afterwards, which is Drake's. Which is today's.
The best supplier in the world.
Of dodgy.
I'm just doing this to another guy. Much better than Crusader. Why is there a fucking man spinning? That's just weird. Star Citizen, right? Now a woman. Right, I'm coming in. I'm looking at my stuff and I'm like, I'm genuinely no patience. For a minute, I saw those two at the back and went, "Which one's the mole?" But then I went, "Oh, there it is."
Right, so let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, in size.
You have to look at the fucking MPU.
Well, there's only. Do you know Argo's only got one ship that's not available yet?
Yeah, the towing one.
Yeah, it's the SRV.
I kind of want to buy that as
Same.
well.
I don't know why I do.
I don't know why. Because if I get a tow truck, space tow truck, I'm just gonna do the worst American accent you've ever heard, or be like Tow Mesa, you know. Now this has changed since I last saw it.
Well,
actually, no, I've actually never seen it.
Well, basically, when you take to you then, but when I looked at it more, it's like it's kind of a similar idea to the Raft. It's got this big area designed for you to put people in. So you put people in, like, so when you're towing something away, or because it's got two sort of primary uses. One is going to be obviously towing people, so you get the craft, they'll go into sort of the sort of waiting area and they'll tow their craft back somewhere. The other one is potentially if you've got something like a hull D that needs to be moved to a certain area, but rather than the hull D trying to do that, a SMRV will, you know, pull it into port, for example, or pull, you know, one of those big behemoth ships into port or somewhere it needs to go to.
Yeah. I just want to go full lizard towing truck. You ever seen that TV show? It's an American TV show, and
is it the Canadian one about the ice roads?
No. This is about it's a towing company, and the boss, he says the craziest shit in the world. Like what he says is so American. I have no idea what he's saying, and I can't even think of one because I've not watched it in age. It's just YouTube it whenever you get a free time.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
Lizard tow trucking or something like that. He is the funniest man in the world, and he deals with some of the craziest people in the world as well. Because what he does is basically, if you don't pay for your car, the company calls up them to say, "Here's the address. Here's this. Here's the."
They're like bailiffs, sort of thing in England, sort of thing. Take it away, something they're not being paid for.
Yeah, but they just do cars and vehicles, any type of vehicle. And then they go, and then there's people, they lose their shit, and they act surprised because, I don't know, they're stupid. They don't pay for their car, then when someone comes to take it away from them, because they technically don't own it now, they're surprised.
Scarlet, that would be so much fun. I'd seen D-Jack towing away ships, that is true. Choco, I was thinking of, I really like ice road truckers. I did as well. But there's a show based in Canada, and there's this one major road that has a lot of the goods coming in from sort of Canada into the US and stuff like that. And there's these guys, because it's covered in ice all the time. There's a company that spend their time trying to get like trucks back on the road in these frozen conditions. That's pretty cool. Like this is a rock, which is pretty decent. This
is a part of shit.
Is the stupidest thing on the planet, because I believe, is it the same Laser.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same, other than it has 2 more wheels, a seat on the outside for another person to sit, and that's it.
Because
it's exactly the same.
The issue a lot of people have with this vehicle is the Rock. You go into it, you drive it, and you mine. The Rock DS or whatever the hell it's called. Basically, you have somebody who drives, but they can't use the laser, and somebody separately loses the laser. So there's no extra benefit for 2 people into it.
And the storage is exactly the same as well.
Yeah. So it would be cool if you could have, I don't know, if what the
storage or a slightly better laser. But
yeah.
It's exactly the same, other than the wheel capacity and the seat capacity.
Yeah, if they had like a big laser on that, or made it different, so it was 2 seats next to each other controlling 2 different lasers, but one was the driver, it would stop, and then you could remote 2 different lasers. Brilliant, but it's not. It is basically.
I'd rather get this fucking little Renault thing.
Yeah.
This is clearly modelled after that Renault 1-seater thing. It's just got 2 seats, no roof. And honestly, if that's more than 10 quid, it's a rip-off.
Oh, the Greycat little buggy there. That's literally designed.
Buggy thing.
Do you know what it first was designed for? What they used to have is, do you know the hangar module's gone now, but the hangar module used to be a place where you could walk in and you could spawn in your ship and have a look at it, right? The first hangars they had were massive. You used to be able to spawn all your ships in that were ship ready, so you could actually go into this long hall and have all these different ships all next to each other. So what you do is they ended up implementing this little buggy, and what people used to do is sit in it and you drive up and down all your ships. And then you got rid of all that stuff. This thing is a Pioneer. This thing is massive, and it builds outposts. It's got like, do you know all the outposts you come to are like prefabricated? They're like those sort of ones are obviously you know, the same sort of thing over and over again. You've got the same parts, you just stick together. This thing makes them. So it lands, and then the center part will build an outpost of somebody, and then take off. Because what you can also do is you've also got this beacon you can apply, and actually claim land. So you can claim land, and then have outposts built on it eventually, and that's supposed to be in game. This next one, this is the SRV. Now the front of the SRV again is very, very, very similar to. It's a single-seater version of. In fact, it's single-seater, so it's going to look. It's basically going to be a massive version of the MPUV.
I just realised I can rent. Can I rent a cat?
You can rent anything that's here for 48 hours. What are you wanting to rent?
Caterpillar.
Oh yeah, you can. That's got to be in there.
We all know I have a hard on for Caterpillar.
Well, you're talking to me. I at the moment, as much as I've started to like other manufacturers, I still am a Drake fanboy. So I still think the Cat, as much as I'd probably buy a Hercules because it's just more hardier and it's got a bit more inventory, I still think the Caterpillar looks better.
The Caterpillar is, like, in fairness, like you said, it is a bit unfair that the C2 has more storage.
I don't think it should. It sounds really weird. We're going to have a look at it in a minute if it's actually in there. I'm currently having a look at, there's an area, oh, you find me, there's an area here.
Well, I think isn't it every ship that you can purchase and is flyable?
Should be in there, it should be. Now, we've both been in Hercules before. I've not been in the Caterpillar for a little while. I still believe that the Caterpillar is bigger. The inventory is bigger. Right.
I've looked at the pictures and it just looked long as balls.
It does.
Like, long as hell. And I've been in a C2. I've been in Valves. And where the storage is, it's like
it's wider. It's definitely wider. So I understand the vehicle thing, but I don't know why it feels. I don't know. Right, this is was it Consolidated Outland. Gonna be honest, there's 4 different Mustangs. The only Mustang I'd ever bother getting, and it was going to be a must, would probably be the flying one. The only Consolidated Outland ship that is good is the one in the middle. The Nomad. Nomad's actually a decent beginner ship. You've got the cockpit. Yeah, you got the cockpit. You got right behind it. You've got literally a whole living area, like a little house virtually. You got some decent guns compared to any of the Mustangs. And then on the back, it's got this giant platform, like a pickup truck that lowers down, which is a cargo bay. That is. You actually get one to play around with for free over this Expo. So on the Expo at the moment, it's actually free to use until I think the 1st. But yeah, that is a very good ship. It's actually a very good ship, and one of the reasons why I like the Raft is because, yeah, one of the only reasons why I think I fell in love with the Raft so quickly is the Raft feels like a bigger version of a Nomad. A Nomad is generally a very, very good ship.
I've not really used it. One thing I need to do is just see if I can shove a rock in the back.
I wonder if you still can, because when it first got introduced, that's what people were doing.
I think I've seen pictures of people having a rock in the back.
But I don't know if it's been nerfed.
It does look like it could fit on the back.
Thank you so much for the follow. That is much appreciated.
One thing I've also rented is the Merlin. So, because it's fast as fuck, but I want to have a go on it because I've never been in one.
Yeah, I don't think it's got any warp capability, quantum. So you just basically traveling around the area because it's a snub fighter. It's usually attached to something else.
Well
done
here. There's not that much of it, is there?
No, we're just gonna go into the lift. I'm going to go hit a marker on my stream because I'm currently splitting up all the expos for people like Noodles and stuff who can't actually be here, because by the time he gets back, this is finished.
Yeah, 15th of December.
And I should have done this yesterday already, because that was when this one was done.